Mate, you're going to stand in front of the sun. Stand on the side.
I drove here.
It's going to be right on your camera.
Yeah, the sun already is. That's
Roll down the window. Roll down the window. If we can get you.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome. It's been a really strange couple of weeks. From the darkness of Manchester and Yom Kippur, where two Jews were murdered on our holiest day, to the joy of hearing that the hostages will finally be coming home, please God, on Monday. On Simchat Torah, in 2023, our world's changed forever. 1,200 Jews murdered, 250 taken hostage, and everywhere else, not the sympathy we expected, but hate and anger. Hate towards us, hate towards our community, has been allowed to escalate, enabled by police refusing to crack down on it, by government refusing to crack down on hate speech and incitement. Globalise the Intifada, they've said, and on Thursday, at Yom Kippur, we saw exactly what globalise the Intifada means. It's a call to murder Jews. It was a call to murder Jews during the first Intifada in 1987, during the second Intifada, and it's a call to murder Jews today. The Yom Kippur attack was what globalise the Intifada looks like. And the government and the police must crack down on hate speech to protect our community, because we've had 2 years of incitement, 2 years of marches, month after month, taking up our streets, protests, encroaching on Jewish areas, inciting people to hate Jews. CST have recorded the 2 highest years of anti-Semitic incidents in their history. That's not a coincidence, and it has been enabled by a government and police force that's refused to crack down on hate speech, refused to crack down on anti-Semitic violence, and refused to crack down on incitement. Now that must change. They must act to protect the Jewish community.
Oh, you are.
Last year, after the Southport attacks, Keir Starmer said, I will call this what it is, far-right thuggery. This year, when a Jew was murdered, 2 Jews were murdered on Yom Kippur by an Islamist terrorist, not a single government minister, not the Prime Minister, has called out the problem for what it is. Islamist extremism, and let's be very clear, it's not all Muslims. There are Muslims here today. We were greatly comforted to see the comments from a lot of mosques, a lot of mosque leaders, a lot of Muslim communal organisations condemning the attack, expressing solidarity, but there are extremists, and if the government can't name the problem, how can they hope to tackle it? There is an infestation of anti-Semitism in this country, and just like after Southport, where the government took special measures to crack down on far-right thuggery and protect the minority community, they must now do the same. Hopefully, this will be the last time we're here. I mean, I doubt it. As the posters say, there's a ceasefire, they've got what they've been marching for. What the hell are they marching for now? What's the point? We've always known what they're marching for. It was never about Palestine, it was always about hate. They don't want peace, they want the destruction of the world's only Jewish state.
Yeah, and the rest of us.
All of us. But we're here today to oppose them, as we have been at every single one of these protests. Hopefully, though, for the last time with the hostages in captivity. And please God, we can get rid of the t-shirts, the banners, the necklaces on Tuesday night. And Simchat Torah is the start of beginnings. It's the beginning and the end of a cycle. On Simchat Torah in 2023, it was the beginning of an awful cycle. The beginning of terror, of the hostages being taken. And on Tuesday, please God, that cycle will end. And the Jewish heart will be whole again, and our people will be home. We're honoured to be joined by some great guest speakers today. We'll start by introducing Josh Howie, a broadcaster and the host of Free Speech Nation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom. With a ceasefire in place, this should be a day of celebrating peace. A day
of relief for families reunited, a day of mourning for the innocent lives lost on both sides, a day of condemnation for those responsible, Hamas, a day of hope for the future. But instead, the supposedly pro-Palestinian marchers reveal what they are really about, as they have revealed themselves all along, but our politicians and police commissioners and media ignored. For the Islamists, and for the far-left cranks, and for the rest of the useful idiot bigots, this is a day of hate. As it has been every single day since the pogrom of October 7th, as it has been for years and decades before. Thank you for proving the point, sir. The situation may have changed in Israel and Gaza, but here in the UK and across the West, their hatred of Jews remains the same. Of course they claim that they don't hate Jews, that they are here for peace. Yet where are their chants for peace? Their placards for the hostages to be returned, their banners condemning October 7th and Hamas. Just see how they react with violence for those who bravely stand amongst them to state such things. And then you see how much they are really about peace. They say they want to stop the war, whilst at the same time as the IDF withdraws, they demand military intervention. They are not stop the war, they are restart the war.
You haters!
They say they are here, yes they are. They say they're here to stop a genocide, the first in history where the population has increased, a genocide where the population emerges plump and jubilant, declaring victory. A genocide these protesters must want to continue as they condemn the ceasefire, because stopping a fake genocide was never what they wanted. What do they want then? We've seen what they want. We've seen it in the spilled blood of Jews on the streets of Manchester. They could not have been clearer. Listen to their chants. Listen to their incitements to violence. They literally shout for jihad. They chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. A phrase Sadiq Khan doesn't think is anti-Semitic, as it calls for the destruction of the world's only Jewish state, which also means the end of half the world's Jews. For Khan, it's about context. You mean like the context of people doing Nazi salutes and waving placards with swastikas and glorifying Hamas and shouting quotes from the Quran about the murder of Jews? That kind of context? They scream to globalize the Intifada, and they got what they wanted. In the violence and murder of Jews in America, in Canada, in France, and across Europe, and they got what they wanted here last week in the UK. And what do we want? Well, I'll tell you what we don't want. We don't want to be here. We want to be at home with our families. We want to be out with our friends, or getting the shopping done, or snoozing on the sofa. We don't want to be here absorbing their lies, their ignorance, their hate, filtering it, let it wash over us and through us, straining and staining our souls. No, we don't want to be here, but we are compelled to be here. Compelled by the hostages, compelled by our own safety and that of our community. We are here to bear witness. We are here to expose. We are here to mock, to challenge, to love this country, because we love its traditions of fair and tolerance, because we love Israel, because we love Jews and we love peace, and we love everything that the other side hates. We are the light to their darkness. We are the dam to their flood. We must stand strong and true and constant, as we have done all along these last 2 years, so that others can see what we do, so that others can be inspired to come and add their resolve to ours. For we must stand together. Every time they come out, we come out, and our numbers will grow. We are literally standing at the frontiers of liberal democracy. And they want to burn it all down. We came for the hostages. We stay for the West. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much, Josh. We're also honoured today to be joined by Jackie Lee Kirsch, one of our own, a Londoner, but who's married into the Mancunian community and is now part of Manchester since 1987. Her husband is a strong member of Heaton Park Synagogue and now a survivor of the Yom Kippur terrorist attack. We're honoured to have her join us today.
Sorry, can you take a step back?
She's speaking, it's Jackie.
Oh, Jackie, sorry.
I haven't got much balance, so.
Shut up!
Shabbat Shalom, Saturday people. I've watched you every week come out. I can't actually believe I'm standing here. This is not what I do. Yom Kippur, October the 2nd. My husband Elliot is a regular shul attendee, and as every year, he has to be the first in shul for the beginning of the service. But shortly after 9:30 a.m, there was a knock at the door, and I was in my pajamas. A neighbour I barely know stood there and said, "Tell Elliot not to go to shul." I said, "Why?" She says, "There's been a terrorist attack, and it's at Heaton Park Shul, which is about a 7-minute walk from our house." I said, "But he's already left." And we just looked at each other, trying to make sense of what she'd said. And I asked her, "Are you trying to tell me right now that I'm not going to know whether my husband is alive or dead?" And she said, "I'm so sorry." I shouted up to my son, "There's been a terrorist attack at our shul." The sound that came out of him was just like a wounded animal. I told him to focus. Should we stay here, wait for news, or head down to the shul to be with our people? We didn't make it out the door. Gabriel had a panic attack. It felt like being in a film. I found myself in the street and a woman delivering leaflets ran over. She dropped the leaflets, came into the house to help with my son. I told her, "I'm first aid trained. I can't remember anything. I'm in shock." My son, feeling better, ran out the door. I could not find my shoes to follow him fast enough. And by then, it was mayhem. Helicopters, police, CST, cordoned off the road around our shul. I couldn't get anywhere near to find my husband. There's no news. Members of our community, relatives of congregants, we just stood there and stared at each other with wide eyes. We were speechless. My son came up to me distraught. "Mom, why are those 3 Asian women laughing? Why are they videoing us? Why is that Asian man doing the same?" And I don't know whether Dad is dead or alive. A man approached. He was a journalist from The Guardian. I know, boo, I know. He tried to ask how I felt. So what I did was, I pointed out the people that were laughing and that were filming us. I said, "Report that." And he hung his head and he walked away, as he should.
Howard.
My phone filled with messages, friends and family sending screenshots of the sky-breaking news. Elliot was on the screenshot. We didn't see him again until after 5 that evening, when that front door opened and he was stood in the hallway. My son and I ran to him as a giant 3-way hug, and there was no words. What he described is seared into us all. The carnage, the banging on the doors, the shouting to shut the fire doors, the sound of bullets coming through the main doors, and the face of pure evil. As that terrorist tried to get in, my husband, along with quite a few others, and our gorgeous Rabbi Daniel Walker, helping to keep the synagogue doors closed, he turned, he saw Adrian Dolby on the floor, so much blood. He saw Yoni Finley on the floor. Rabbi Walker was doing everything he could for him. Outside, Melvin Kravitz, the sweetest man, wouldn't say boots to a goose, just a lovely man, laying on the ground after being stabbed to death. Bernard, our security guard, was rammed by the terrorist car, both legs completely smashed. He's still in a trauma unit. Andrew Franks volunteering to help with security, viciously attacked, serious head, neck and face injuries, multiple broken bones and stabbed in the neck. Every media outlet reporting what's happening in Manchester all day. And guess what that evening? Oh yeah, after the attack, pro-Palestinian demonstrators took over Manchester Piccadilly, Glasgow Central, Let's Go for Liverpool, Let's Hear It for Leeds, Liverpool Line Street stations, and they bloody marched. Despite appeals from the Home Office not to, and the police not to. So, here we have 2 funerals, vigils, a memorial on October the 7th, and yet they marched. Peace talks, hope for peace in Gaza, and yet they marched. If they cared about men, women, children in Gaza, they would not be marching like this. This is not about Gaza right now. This is about hatred. It's a twisted version of our tragedy, blaming the Israeli government. But as long as they carry on marching with their flags and their placards and their lies and their words that echo what we thought we'd left behind in the 1930s, we're not going anywhere. Starmer, the BBC, mainstream media, they've got blood. All have blood on their hands. We know, we're not idiots, the country was anticipating a terror attack. We're in total shock that this happened on our doorstep, and we are more than aware that this could have happened at any synagogue in the country. It just happened to be ours. They march, we show up, we fight, we live, we love, we wait for the world to wake up and join us. Thank you.
I've got a broken toe. I'm right, thank you.
Eunice is here. Haley? I'll call Haley.
Amazing to have you. Our next speaker is someone who's well known to us, but has been one of our most invaluable allies for the last 2 years. A reverend, a friend, a real hero, Reverend Haley Ace.
Shalom, my friends. It is so nice to be able to be here with you after so long not being able to stand and be here. This week, I was invited to speak to Heaton Park Synagogue after what Jackie has just told us about her direct experience of it. We know exactly what the pro-Palestine movement in its current form stands for. We know exactly who they are, that it is the red herring, the Trojan horse of the Islamic regime. The fact that our leadership is so coy about calling this hatred what it is and actually addressing the root cause, which is radical Islam, is outrageous. It is outrageous to say to the synagogue that they will just put some more security. How long can the police go on to every single shul, every single Jewish person? This does not sort out the root of the problem, and that is what this government has to do. This leadership absolutely have blood on their hands, and whilst this attack in Manchester was and is totally crushing and shocking, it was actually no surprise to any of us, because we have been listening. They do not hide what they want. Hamas have been very clear what they want. We see it on the marches, and we have seen it for the last 2 years. And even now, whilst they have the ceasefire that they have apparently wanted all this time, it's not enough. Because as Josh Howie quite rightly said, it was never about a ceasefire. It is a hate movement about calling for the destruction of the only Jewish state. Shame on them and everyone who has been complicit in allowing this to go ahead on our streets. Now, I learned something this week. Section 4 of the Public Order Act 1994 does give us some rights. And these are some rights that I haven't seen actually enforced for the Jewish community and for the people that have been worried. Let me tell you this. In my opinion, calling for intifada and calling for jihad causes me deep alarm and distress. Anyone else? If so, raise your hand. According to the law, this is what alarm and distress is. Causing someone to feel afraid or anxious about potential danger. That is exactly how we feel when we see these marches and the rhetoric that is coming out of them. Distress, making an individual feel genuine emotional disturbance or upset. How many times have we felt that in the last 2 years? Every day. Every day. Every day, the Jewish community and the people that care about what's going on have felt significant alarm and distress. We demand the rule of law be applied for the Jewish community who feel alarm and distressed at the rhetoric that is coming out of the pro-Palestine movement, which is a call for jihad. And what we saw last week was the fruit of their cause. A man literally called jihad, undertaking his holy mission to kill Jews. And I spoke at the Conservative Party conference this week, and in our conversations I said, how many more dead Jews does this government need before they take things seriously? Because 2 is too many. So we demand the rule of law be applied for the Jewish community, and that these marches, these hate marches, are stopped. That the Muslim Brotherhood and the IRGC who fund these marches, who are behind much of what we see, must be prescribed and rule of law must be established. Thank you so much for your relentless work. I love you guys, and we stand strong together.
Soon we're going to see again the most vile and rancid that this city and this country has to offer. They seem to kind of drain into this cesspool of PSC. And we will hear all the usual chants about intifada and one solution and mumbo jumbo about 1948, as if they had anything in 1948. And we all know what it means. We all know what it means. It means one thing for us, that's for sure, for us Jews. But I keep urging everyone here to open their ears and listen very, very carefully to the words that are being said and will be said in about half an hour from now. Because the calls there might focus on Israel right now, or Jews, or how they like to describe it, Zionists. There ain't no real Jews who aren't Zionists. What is so difficult to understand? If you are a real Jew, you are a Zionist through and through, 100%, who never waver, who never back down. They can try to shut us up, they can try to put intimidating videos on TikTok and Instagram. Shut the fuck up, you prick. They can try to shut us down, but they don't know one thing. 77 years and counting, and they still haven't learned. We Zionists, as Jews, we have a thick skull. We just don't go away. Look at all your predecessors who tried to kill us. How did that end up for them? So, go away, release us from your presence, because the war is over. We're now busy in rebuilding, amending what needs to mend, recovering, becoming whole again with our brother and sister back home. And we're not going to think about you, I want you to know. We're going to be focused on ourselves. Focus on Israel, focus on the Jewish people, like we always done. We're going to rebuild better, stronger, taller, unbreakable. Because we and Israel is not going anywhere. This dream that we made into reality is the reality, so get on with the program or be gone in the trash of history, like your predecessors. So thank you once more, I say it every time, for being on the right side of history. Your moral compass is well intact. Thank you for coming, and let the party begin. This is the Hamas Surrender Party. Come on!
נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם באדום. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו שקשה לראות.